statement, and then we'll take questions. If you could, just raise your hand and grab the mic before we ask your questions.
All right, first off, thank you guys for being here. Appreciate everybody coming out today, and kind of kicks off the start of basketball season, and this is a great time of year. You have baseball playoffs going on, football's in full swing and doing well, and the NFL, and now obviously college basketball, and the NBA's got the preseason games going on, and college basketball is about to start their scrimmages and a couple weeks away from the first game, and so this is a great time of year. I want to say congratulations to all of our guys that are doing really, really well. Our NBA guys overseas, all of our former guys that are really representing our school and our university the right way. I think we've got 8 or 9 guys in the NBA right now, whether it's two-way contract, full contract. That's amazing, and those guys deserve an immense amount of credit for their character and the time that they've put in to get to that level. Really excited about this year. I was just talking to some of the guys over there. Not sure what to expect. It's great to go to Italy because I think we got a head start on some things we needed to do, both offensively and defensively. But everybody knows we did lose quite a few guys, lost a lot of scoring, and so we're going to have to. Practice has been good. We've had 2 really good days the last 2 days, but you still. We got to kind of find the right fit as we go, and whether that's big, whether that's small, whether that's traditional big, we'll see as we go. But we're trying a couple different ideas there. Obviously, really proud of Tyrese and the summer that he's had, winning gold medal, representing our school. Over in Greece with Team USA was awesome for him. Also with him getting to go to Nike, that was huge, and then just being named. Preseason All Big 12. Now he has to play like an All Big 12 first team guy. But he's done it. He had an amazing year last year for us. Represents this school at the highest level, and really excited to see what he can do. Obviously, his role is drastically changing, and he knows that, and I know that. And there's going to be some learning curves with that we've got to be there, and we've got to do a great job of understanding that, recognizing that, and seeing him through the peaks and valleys that's gonna happen. Rasir, obviously getting Rasir eligible. Real thankful to compliance and for the job they did with the waiver on Rasir. He's a guy that I think can really impact our team in a lot of ways. Offensively, he's very talented, gifted, can score in a lot of ways. But as a double-figure scorer in the Big Ten as a freshman, that says a lot. And so really excited about those 2 young guys in the backcourt. The strength of our team, when you look at experience and guys returning, you got Mike Jacobson, George Condit, and Solomon Young. All 3 of those guys have been very good. Solomon Young, I think, has had a great summer and is really understanding what his role is right now for us. Really our best post defender when you look at understanding coverage, understanding ball screen, pick and roll, and has gotten to where he's got an ability to score around the basket now, and so that's been really good for us. If you talk about one guy who's made the biggest step, it's without a doubt Zion Griffin. Zion Griffin's been terrific. I think he's the one guy when you give out roles and they accept them, he is totally bought into his role. Make threes, take good open shots, and go to the glass every single time. And he's playing with great athleticism and great purpose. He's healthy, and his work ethic's been really good. Really proud of him because he's made a huge, huge step because he dealt with a lot of adversity last year as a freshman. Prentice is doing a good job. As just talking to a couple guys, he's the one guy who's battled. If we're at 15 practices out of 30 leading up to our first game, I bet he's been in about half of them right now. He had concussion a couple weeks ago. Now he's dealing with a groin injury, but hopefully we'll get him back out. I don't know if he'll be a part of our first scrimmage or not, but hopefully we can get him back out on the floor. We've had a couple of our freshmen step up. Trey Jackson, along with Caleb Grill, have had some good moments, and then the other guys, Terrence Javen, Luke, and Leach, are doing a good job as well. Our schedule, it's probably the best we've had since we've been here. It's been awesome every year. Obviously, you've got 18 games in the best league. This league's been the best league in the country the last 6 years. I think this league, when you look at guys returning and what people have brought in, it's probably it's as good as the league's been when you look especially at the top teams right now when the poll comes out. I think it comes out tomorrow. But our schedule, when you take away from those 18 games and you look at Seton Hall, pick to win the Big East, Auburn, you got Iowa here, then we go to the Bahamas with Michigan, Carolina, Alabama. We got a great schedule. The great thing about it is we got Seton Hall and Iowa here at Hilton. You know, we go to Oregon State early, you know, which will be a tough venue over there. But we've got a lot of great NCAA tournament-type resume games, road and home and neutral, for us to build our resume. And then the last thing is, you know, we've scrimmaged. We've got 2 scrimmages coming up, and it's time to get going. We've had a couple weeks, like I said, 15 days of practice. You know, we'll have 2 scrimmages over the next 2 weeks, and then November 5th we'll tip off. And so excited. But the scrimmage, the best thing about the scrimmage is instead of doing the exhibitions, they just give you a lot more gauge of where you're at, where you need to go, and what we need to correct right away. And so it's been really beneficial for us, and excited to get that started this weekend. So I'll open up to you, Randy.
What does Ty Reese have to do to take that next step?
You know, I think I just met with him the other day, and I don't think it's about taking the next step. I think it's about remembering who he is, because his biggest strength is his spirit. He's a really good basketball player, but that's not what attracts people to him. People are attracted to him because of his spirit, and he has to have that spirit. That's going to be the biggest challenge. His role is changing. Can he keep that same spirit? You know, whether it's the motors, like I joked with him yesterday, you know, he turned it over a couple times. You know, biggest thing is, why are you turning it over? We got to recognize that. But like, you know, whether it's the motorcycle thing we joked about last year, he had an unbelievable spirit. He has an unbelievable presence about him. He can't lose that. That's the biggest thing. If he does that, he'll be fine.
Seems like the name we keep hearing a little bit more from you every time we talk to you is Zion. What do you expect his role to be, and what do you need him to do when you do have those discussions?
Well, it's, you know, our makeup's a little bit different from a standpoint of, you know, if you look at our team last year, obviously we love to play small. You know, you look at 4 guards, and we've done that a lot. He's more of your, I don't want to say traditional 4, but he could be a small ball 4 if you want to call it that. But I think he's put a lot of time in. His body looks great. He's got to where he can really make shots. He's making threes. But the biggest thing is, our team this year has to find different ways to score. Okay, can we score on the offensive glass? Can we score by turning people over? Can we score in side or underneath out of bounds at times? Okay, and he is sold out to go into the glass, you know, of being the best offensive rebounder on the team, and he's making shots. And so, and he's flipped back and forth. I've had him on, you know, Gray a lot. You know, Red is kind of your, you know, you want to say first 5 or 6. I've had him on Gray a lot, moving back and forth, but he's really responded. And on both ends, he's rebounded, he's made shots, and that's what he's got to do for us. You got to be able to space the floor and make shots and then rebound.
Also, with Zion, how much do you think last year's difficulties, having to battle through the injuries, you know, A, how tough were they on him at the time, but B, how much did it maybe mold him into the type of guy that can fill the role that you're describing?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, if you go back and look at those, you know, I told the guys, I told them this the other day when I met with them, is probably the best time, and I've been here going to my 5th year. It's crazy. It's already 5 years, but the best time I probably ever had coaching was in Maui. You know, we had 4 freshmen. We had 8 guys. That's all we had, 8 guys, 4 freshmen, you know, and they didn't know anything, you know. But like I said, their spirit, their purpose, they were unbelievable to coach, and they played the right way. But when you threw Zion in a game last year, I'd never, when I graded tape or I watched tape or we brought him off, he may have made mistakes, could have missed shots, you know, didn't shoot a grade from 3, whatever it may be. But his energy was always really good. His purpose was always really good. Same thing with George Condit. He probably should have played a little bit more last year in the front court. But every game, like Kansas championship game in the tournament, he responded, you know. We gave, you know, Cameron, we had Cameron was out there. Man, we took Cameron out. George responded for those 10, 12 minutes. There was only one game I can remember, Oklahoma State here, where George didn't respond. And so, you know, I've been proud of Zion from that standpoint. You know, so you knew you're going to get that from him. Now the maturity's got to come into where, you need to get in and watch tape. And so he's texting about watching tape several times. He's getting in to shoot after practice. He's getting in before practice. And that just comes from maturity.
How'd you see Mike grow into a leadership role last year, especially maybe last month of the season?
Yeah, I mean, he's an everyday guy, and he's been terrific. And that's the thing is, I think coming here was great for him from a standpoint. He got to sit out. He got to increase his skill, really worked at his craft. But you know what you're going to get from him every day. He may, miss shots, make shots, whatever it may be, but his effort's going to be really good. His toughness is going to be really good. And so I know as a coach, I respect that. Hopefully the players respect that because he's an everyday guy, and that's what wins. That's what breeds consistency if you're an everyday guy. The biggest thing for Mike this year is now you played 99% of the time last year, maybe 99.9% at the 5. And one of my assistants told me I think he was maybe at one point one of the top 5 most efficient players in the country at that spot. Now with personnel, may play a lot at the 4. You know what I mean? How can we help him, and then how can he make that adjustment there? And so, but he's a guy that puts so much time in the gym. And so my biggest thing as a coach is if you're going to put the time in, I'm going to trust you in those moments. I'm going to trust you with those shots, whether it's from 3, 17 feet, jump hooks, whatever it may be.
We know that Tyrese is obviously capable of creating shots for other people, but one of the big things that you lost from last year is those guys who could really create shots for themselves. What do you need to see to feel confident that there's somebody on this team that's capable of doing that, whether it's at the end of a shot clock or in another situation like that?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. When you look at this roster, you probably had, you had multiple, I won't even give a number, we had multiple guys that, if it got late, they could go make a play, and that's what, good players, obviously are capable of doing. I don't like everybody say, well, what do you want to run at the end of the shot clock? What do you want to run at the end of the shot clock? I don't like to get to where, hey, it's at 12. Now we're going to back it out and we're going to just go 1-4 flat. You may do it at times and do some actions. I think what we've done this year because of that, knowing that, I think Bolton's a guy who can go get one. Prentice can get a shot off. Tyrese, obviously, his game is there's just so much craftiness to it, But so I think we've got some triggers that we go to, when things break down, not to die. I think that's been our biggest thing, to where we're going to hopefully be able to attack people late shot clock by ball movement, cutting, pace, purpose, rather than actually just one guy trying to signal it out. And so hopefully we can do it by our cutting, by our movement, by some of the things we're trying to do when our initial action breaks down. But as games start going and guys are in that situation, you'll see who can do that. But I think we've got a couple guys, like I said, Bolton, Nixon, Tyrese, hopefully that can do that. And I think we can go inside as well too. I think Solomon, Mike, George have shown some strides to score around the basket.
Where have you seen George make strides, and just how much could his role change this season?
Well, he's an X factor, and I've told him that all the time, is he's got to make a big step this year. He's got to make a step defensively, because I think at this level in this league, you need protection around the basket. And when he's protecting the rim and blocking shots and changing shots, and he's really putting pressure on the rim and running to the rim and getting the defense to really sink and get into the paint, then he's a problem. And so we got to really challenge him to be great with his motor every single day, defensively around the rim, offensively putting pressure on the basket. He's got a good basketball IQ, instincts with the way we play offensively, knowing how to flip screens, playing pick and roll. I think he can pass out of the high post. He can do some of those things. We need him to be a dominating defensive presence for this team, and he knows that. Now he's got to go out there and do it.
How do you get Tyrese to shoot more, assuming you want him to take more shots? How do you do that without, messing him up mentally or?
I won't beat it over his head about trying to shoot more. I think he understands that. I think the one thing, I just want to keep him focused on, they say the slogan, be where your feet are. Just focus on being who he is. And hopefully that'll, we'll be able to create, manufacture him some more shots. He may have to force one or two at times, but I don't want him thinking that way. he just needs to make the best decisions for our team. And if it's, if we can win and he scores 6 points, if we're capable of winning that way, he'll be ecstatic. He'll be ecstatic. If he's a 9 assists, 1 turnover game, that's a heck of a game for him. But he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. The great thing about Bolton is we can play Tyrese really 1, 2, 3. If you went really small, you could play him at the 4. You can put him anywhere. And so, because I think the best way, Tyrese really can make great plays is really off second side, third side ball reversal when you really get the defense moving. But Bolton is really a good contrast for him to where if people want to try to be physical, take Tyrese away, you can put Bolton at the 1 and put Tyrese off the ball. But I'm not going to overthink and make him think about shots to where we're getting bad shots.
One more thing, Coach. Is his body to the point where he won't wear down towards the end, or does he still need to get stronger, do you think?
I think he's always going to have to get stronger, going forward for college, and then on in the future one day. But, people used to joke about Monte and Eric's back there, and he said this one time, it was the funniest thing I heard, and someone was like, hey, how many minutes you going to play Monte? And he was like, 38 minutes a game with gusts up to 40, and so I think that was I don't know if I said that exactly right, but this is college basketball, and obviously we got to be smart if we got to get him breaks here and there, but he's going to be on the floor a lot. But you play 35, 38 games, 32 to 38 games, he's fine physically. We got to be smart in practice at times when you get into the conference, timeout wise, things like that, but he'll be fine.
You've mentioned this offseason that you guys are smaller. What do you think small ball for this team looks like? And conversely, how much different are you stylistically when you do play 2 bigs?
Yeah, I don't know if small ball is the right term for our team from a standpoint of because what you're saying big, am I saying big? If you're saying Mike and Zion are bigs, then we're playing 2 bigs pretty much all the time right now. Whether it's Mike solo, Mike George, Zion Mike, Zion George, Zion solo, then we probably are playing big 99% of the time right now. But are we playing with small, with 4 out and 5 out concepts? Yeah, we're doing that a lot, to try to continue to keep our spacing and keep our ball movement the way, because it's been really good for us. The thing about it is, Mike, Zion, they've got to continue to get a good feel to understand, hey, you can play out there, but if the action brings you inside, then we've got to play our post rules too, and they've got to do a good job of understanding playing inside out and playing both. The difference is if we went traditionally small this year, like if you just said Halliburton, Nixon, Jackson, and who am I missing, Bolton, you're a lot smaller than you were last year. So where last year you're 6'5", 1 through 4. This year you're more, 6'2", 6 foot, 6'2", 6 foot, and so how much you do that depends on how you can rebound, and who you're playing, and a lot of matches. We haven't spent a lot of time with that. We spent more with Mike, Zion, a little bit with Tyrese at the 4.
Have you noticed anything either from a shooting percentage or spacing with the
our spacing's good. Our shooting's not great right now.
With the extended 3-point line?
I don't think it's the 3-point line. When we talk to our guys right now about shot selection, I think it's more, about shooting percentage right now. From our scrimmage Saturday, you're 12 for 23 when we took good threes. You're 14 for 43 when you combine the bad ones and the good ones. And so we've got to, and I'm one that, people look at and say, man, he lets them shoot some, but I think that also plays into why they can make 6 in a row too, so it evens out. But I think this team, I got to really harp, and I've been harping a lot more on shot selection. But it's early, so shot selection's bad. Turnovers are abundant. That's just what it is the first couple weeks. But I think our spacing, Mike can make threes. Hopefully the goal for Mike is can we get him to be 35% from 3? Can Zion be 35 to 38? If that happens, man, we're in good shape. Because I know Nixon can make them. I know Tyrese can make them. Bolton shot 30-something last year at Penn State. Caleb Grills, that's his one main thing he does. To where I think we can space you out.
The extended lines are not a factor for you
The extended line, the biggest thing is stepping out of bounds in the corner. That's the main number one thing. If you look at a lot of our threes last year, they're usually about a foot behind the line anyway. Everybody, was talking about that. Like Taylor, he'd shoot them, 2-3 feet behind. But the biggest thing with that line is making sure and we're stressing a lot, catch it on 2 feet. Because if you don't catch it on 2 feet, that back foot hits that line, that out of bounds line, and that happens way too often. But a lot of coaches are having that same issue.
When it comes to playing big, especially if you're in a situation where you have Mike and Solomon or Mike and George, even Solomon and George on the floor at the same time, is there any concern in your mind that teams will start to attack you in the same way that you guys have been able to attack teams in mismatches with those guys defending on the perimeter?
Yeah, no question. But that's why we've got to be better defensively with how we're guarding, whether it's three-quarter court pressure, whether it's some zone, whether it's how we guard ball screens. We've got to be good. And then at the end of the day, those 4 men got to step up and be able to guard the ball on the perimeter. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. We got to all guard the ball. 5 guys got to guard the ball. And that's our biggest thing. If the ball's on that side of the floor, we need 5 guys from this blue line over. All right, thank you, guys.
This copyrighted broadcast is an exclusive presentation of Learfield IMG College. Reuse of this presentation is prohibited without the expressed written consent of Learfield IMG College.